Oh, possession films.
Your soul! You did this to me!
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that there have been a lot of possession-type movies in the past few years. Is it safe to say that the market is oversaturated with this subgenre in the horror community?
Obviously.
Right, so when I saw the trailer for The Pope's Exorcist, I couldn't help but roll my eyes and go, ugh, another possession movie? The last several possession movies have been a lot of the same stuff. A family moves into a new place and one of them gets possessed, no one in the family dies, and it's a happy ending. Sorry, I'm just so bored. There are a few exceptions that stand out from the others. Some of the Insidious movies and Annabelle movies had people you actually liked die, so there were some stakes involved. The Evil Dead franchises stand out not only because people regularly die, but the possessed people have a lot of personality, which makes them unique and even, dare I say, fun? Now, The Pope's Exorcist is the most recent Russell Crowe film. Seems like he is a bit more interested in horrors and thrillers recently with this and also Unhinged, which came out just a few years ago. Not too bad of a thriller. The violence was over the top and really packed a punch. I won't spoil the movie in this vid because I'm behind and we got other horrors to talk about. Don't worry, Evil Dead Rise, you're next. Let's get spooky. Okay, so The Pope's Exorcist is about an Italian exorcist, Father Gabriel Amorth, but he is not just any exorcist. He has been the head exorcist for the Catholic Church for quite some time. He gets called to a special case involving a family who has recently moved into an old abbey and are trying to fix it up to sell. During the repair, the youngest son gets possessed and Amorth and his Spaniard father try to help out the family. And that's the whole story without spoilers. So, how was it?
Meh. What do you mean, meh?
Meh.
Here are the shit bits about the movie. It's just another generic possession film. There is nothing in it that really stands out. When the kid gets possessed, he does the same typical demon stuff we have already seen 100 times over. He hates religious things, his cursing is over the top and almost seems out of place, and is occasionally sexual, getting a handful of his mom's boob and all.
Mrs. Phillips, he is your son. You should let him have some boob.
I am terrible. But compared to the demon in this film, I am a blight on the human existence because he is just This movie is very similar to The Right, starring Anthony Hopkins.
That's so wow, cool, awesome, whatever, dude. Use your puking trunk. You don't know nothing.
They are similar because Russell Crowe and Anthony Hopkins are carrying these movies on their shoulders. Without them, these movies would take a serious dip in quality. I think the main problem with movies like this is that they try to be too religious-y and not more fun fiction because both stories are loosely based off of true events or better, real people. But the thing is that people who watch movies like this aren't the types that are looking for a spiritual kick. It's horror fans wanting to see some messed up demon stuff. I strongly doubt that anyone has ever watched a possession film and then became a born-again Christian when they left the theaters. Anyways, The Right and The Pope's Exorcist are very similar films. The head exorcists in both movies are based off of real exorcists. Both movies take place in Italy. Both characters have a lot of quirky humor and personality, which makes them fun characters. Both also try to take exorcism to a more realistic setting, but also stay fictional, and it doesn't really mesh super well. In both movies, they acknowledge that most possessions are bullshit, and that most people who claim to be possessed aren't actually possessed. They are just really troubled, so they do a little theater as a sense of therapy so that the people can move on with their lives from the trauma that they were dealing with. But of course, the real movie is about a real exorcism, or at least real for the characters in the film. If you liked The Right, which I kind of did, it wasn't terrible, but nothing special, you'll probably like The Pope's Exorcist. Now, going into the good shit for Pope's Exorcist, there is a lot of world building and lore, and most importantly, religious artifacts that are just so fucking cool. Why do Catholics get all the fun fun stuff. You got the Shroud of Turin, the Grapevine Cross, St. Peter's Chains, the fabric of the Veil of Mary, the severed head of St. Catherine, the hand of King Stephen, the dried blood of St. Geranus that apparently is dry most of the year but becomes liquid 3 times a year, the heart of St. Camillus. I know a lot of these are body parts and are part of the real Catholic Church, but in fiction it really opens up the possibility of so many things. And in the movie there are a few relics and religious objects that are brought out, and the whole time I'm like, neat. Kind of reminds me of that Blasphemous game. Fun side scroller if you're looking for a recommendation. Also, the ending of this movie teases the idea of a lot of sequel possibilities that could span the entire world, with priests taking on demons with holy weapons, and if the movie had more fun with the heaven versus hell aspect, I would have been much more on board with possible sequels. It has been done before.
Yeah, room 31C, basement level, St. James Medical Center. I'm there now. Yeah, I get that. I'm gonna hang up now. Right.
But they went the more serious route for most of the film, and it just kind of killed my motivation for them. Another positive is definitely Russell Crowe's character. He has a knack of handling these incredibly serious situations very casually, cause it's just another Tuesday for him. He gives a very friendly and trusting demeanor, so very few people in the movie ever actually give him any shit. And when he is talking to the possessed people and they try to mess with him, he shrugs that shit off pretty easily, cause the man knows his stuff.
Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening.
One more thing about the movie, this could have very easily been a PG-13 movie. There is a lot of blood, but it's not like violent blood. It's just blood that's supposed to scare you because there's a lot of it. All you have to do is change it to black and post-pro and play it off as demon goo, and you're PG-13 worthy. There is a pair of tits in this film, maybe 2 pairs, but it's the same person. You could have easily had them covered up and portray the same seductive message and got a lower rating to open it up to a larger audience. Not saying that I have a problem with rated R movies, but it's typically easier to make more money with PG-13 movies because your potential audience is bigger. If you want to go R, go for it, but go all in. Don't just dip your toes in the water and say you went swimming today. Swan dive into that shit.
The graceful swan dive.
It is customary to have the pool filled with water.
On Rotten Tomatoes, critics give it a 50 and audiences an 82. I'm definitely more with the critics on this. It's a very middle-of-the-road kind of possession film. There really isn't nothing too special about it. It's pretty skippable. Thanks for watching, and stay spooky. I gotta summon some friends for my next review.
Thunder.